Hello, divine, beautiful souls. This is Energy Speaks Podcast, and we have a very special guest today, Lisa Bromfield. How are you, Lisa?
I am doing terrific on this Sunday. How are you, Catriel?
I'm doing great. You know, it's so funny because we started this whole Energy Speaks series right when a Mercury Retrograde started, and here we are again. And this is, we took a break from recording, and I think this is our fine time right here.
This is awesome.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my practice is Take5 meditations. I am an energy healer, a psychic medium, and a spiritual mentor. And so other than the psychic readings that I do for people, I also do an energy healing guided meditation where I go in and I'm able to clear the chakras and the aura. I have people meet with their higher self. Then we go to the door of forgiveness because sometimes on a conscious level, we know we have forgiveness work to do, but on a subconscious level, we don't know. And so we ask some people to show up and we cut the cords and we do the forgiveness work. This is very deep work for people. Then I take people to a door of memories, and then we come back down, and then I send out suggestions for things for them to work on. And if we meet again, we go over those things and we continue the work. The guided meditation is very healing, and what people typically report to me is they feel lighter and they just feel really energized after the meditation.
Oh, wow. I'll have to do one with you soon.
Oh, definitely.
I met Lisa. We ran into each other when I was trying to get a minion for my granny's yard site, and I'm like, is there any Jews in the house? And then we were at Sumitra, and she's like, I'm Jewish, and she's about to do a meditation. And I was like, it was so cool because every Thursday night, my buddy and I, Jamal, who's actually going to be on the podcast next, which is funny, he and I study, and we were like, when we were like studying while you were doing your meditation, the overlap was incredible. Like the energy was mirroring each other. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, this is where all the magic is, Like, oh, man.
Yeah, and I think that's what's great is, energy travels, and 99% of my clients are actually outside of the state of Florida. Oh, so wow. A lot of my work I do on Zoom and FaceTime, and it is just as effective as it is in person. Now, when I do the sound healing with my drum, and I do that in the meditations as well, I like to do those in person because the person can really feel the vibration, the healing vibration of the drum on their body.
It's interesting. I was my buddy Steo and I were we're in an online yeshiva together, and we were kind of going over the shofar and how important it is to hear it in person. It kind of reminds me of that, because there is a different effect between over the internet and then in person. But with everything that's been going on with the pandemic and everything like that, had you done your sessions via online prior to?
I was, and I was actually doing the drumming online. I have a really good microphone with my computer, and people were reporting very good results.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we know, I started getting into the drum myself by listening to drumming meditations online. And that's when I built my native drum with a medicine woman and a shaman in Arizona when I lived in Arizona. And I really learned of the benefits of the vibration of the drum, that, it helps with anxiety, it helps with depression, it helps with a variety of things. So that's been an important part of my practice. And what's interesting is 99.99% of the people that are exposed to my drum have never had a drumming done for them.
Wow.
And And I always ask for feedback, of course, and they're like, wow, that felt so good and so releasing. Because we know with meditation, people have a really hard time getting out of their heads, right? So when I open the meditation up with the drumming, this just allows them to energetically just settle down into their breath and to listen to the drum.
You know, it's funny. I don't know if you've ever been to the Movement Sanctuary. So it's right down the street, and they'll do different events all the time. Last night they had an ecstatic dance, and they always open up with some type of breath work or meditation. And now looking back, yesterday, I'm just not a great person for meditation in regards to the traditional. I'm very active. I normally do like a moving meditation. Mm-hmm. But I remember attending for, I think it was my first time at the Movement Sanctuary, where they did a drumming, like they did it over you and everything. That's the one time that I can literally sit down, well, more so lay down and just receive all of that. And something with the vibrations shake something within you. And it stirs it up, but in a way that it re-alchemizes so that like your higher self, like, essentially like moves things forward. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's kind of like the idea of a Mercury retrograde, you know, where it's doing the same type of thing. It's making you like look from different perspectives like and experience new things. I feel like that's what the drum does too.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, you know, the idea is my practice is called Take5 Meditations because I really blew the meditation world up when I said start with 5 minutes. People think they have to start with 30 minutes or an hour, and that's going to set a lot of people up for failure because people are so busy in their heads. So, you know, this is another reason I'm on YouTube now very actively, you know, putting up at least one meditation that I do myself for people so people can listen in and maybe use it for their morning routine. Wow. So that they use a guided meditation. That's how I started because I was so busy in my head back in the day. And so this allows people to kind of listen to something and get out of their own way. So, you know, so you can settle into your breath because the breath we know is where the inner peace is.
Very true. Very, very true. You know, I probably said this on here before, but when we take those moments of pauses and stillness, that's when Hashem speaks, you know? It's in between our voice speaking, you know?
It truly is. I mean, you know, I started my transformation back in 2013, and I'm a very transparent teacher and mentor, and meditation literally transformed my life. And the idea of creating that pause, and like you said, you like an active one. So I suggest that people try a sitting meditation every day at the same time so that you develop the habit, right? Set your clock for 5 minutes, an alarm clock, and then do a guided meditation. But meditation is also walking. It's also a yoga practice. It's also Tai Chi. It's whatever looks good for you in a way that you separate from the devices and get into a place of silence. Because in that reflection, this is when we find out who we are. And we can start stepping into our authentic selves. And with the pandemic, this has shaken up the entire planet. And there is no better time for us to step into who we really are and how we want to show up on the planet.
You know, it's interesting. This year in specific, I've been kind of, you know, messing with how I want to, like, do meditations and different things like that. But it's more through like Chakrit, Mincha, and Arvit, you know? And it's so interesting because like I'm part of Judaism, you know? And I can incorporate those things, like you just said, as a part of that. And I've been talking to different people, like my friend Renata, who's in Svat, and how how she's talked to people on how they apply this type of stuff. And it's really cool that you can do it in so many different ways for any type of religion or belief system or anything.
Yeah, exactly. There's no religion behind this. It's simply the breath.
Yeah.
And paying attention to the in and out of the breath and the up and down of the belly. And when we lose the attention and we get a little busy in the head, we let the thoughts pass and we return the attention back to the rising and the falling of the belly. This is where the inner peace is. This is where the reflection is. This is where our deeper connection to ourselves is.
Yes. I love that. Wow. Would you like to do a little meditation?
We can do a little meditation. We sure can.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Certainly. All right. Well, what I'm going to have you do and have our audience do is first of all, find a very comfortable place to sit. And then I'm going to have you close your eyes. And I'm going to have you first get into just getting comfortable and relaxing and paying attention to the in and out of the breath and the up and down of the belly. And I just want you to stay in the noticing of what you're feeling in your body and the in and out of the breath and the up and down of the belly. When you get those passing thoughts, I want you to simply just say, oh, I'm just going to let those thoughts pass and return to the breath. And just visualize the beautiful life force coming in through your nostrils and exhaling with a big exhale anything that doesn't serve you anymore. And taking another gentle inhale through the nose, vitalizing your entire body, all of the cells in your body, and releasing out the mouth with a loud exhale. And as you settle into the breath, I want you to just take notice. We're going to start touching base with different parts of the body to make sure you're relaxed. Let's start with the head and the neck. And perhaps you'll wiggle them gently, maybe nod left and right, up and down. Just relaxing all of the muscles in your neck, relaxing your jaw. And you move down to your shoulders. Drop your shoulders gently. Oh, doesn't that feel good? Can you feel your shoulders relax? And move that wave of relaxation down your arms, your hands and your fingertips. Just feeling your arms. You can feel their heaviness now because they're totally relaxed. You then move to the chest and the back, and you feel this relaxation go over your chest and back and over your stomach. Feeling this beautiful warmness, this gentleness in your breath. And this wave of relaxation continues down your legs all the way down to your feet, grounding your feet on the floor, taking in the beautiful energy of Mother Earth. And you take a gentle inhale through your nose again, and you exhale, allowing the release of the breath and everything that doesn't serve you. As you feel your body settle into your chair more comfortably, settling down, staying with the in and out of the breath, and taking a moment to set some intentions. What are you going to open up to in your life and be creative with? Open your heart to all the possibilities that you can create in this moment. knowing it's here right now. Continue to settle into the breath, noticing how your body feels. As I'll take you on a very gentle balloon ride right now, which is my hot air balloon. And you see a beautiful hot air balloon in front of you of all the colors of the rainbow. And you step into the basket of this hot air balloon, and you gently lift off of the ground, going higher and higher into the air, floating over the ocean. The sun is just coming up and you're just starting a new day, knowing that there are so many beautiful possibilities in this day. You continue to float over the ocean. You can even hear the sounds, the soothing sounds of the ocean hitting the shore. And you take in the beautiful sun and the vision of the sun and the heat of the sun on your face and the wind in your face caressing every part of your body. You continue along and you go higher and higher in the air until you can't see the ocean anymore. Everything disappears and you're just floating high in the sky until you float into the most beautiful cloud formation. And these beautiful white fluffy clouds surround you, dancing around you in joy. You can feel the cool, moist kisses of these clouds on your face and your body, and you giggle. It's a beautiful space of beautiful white fluffy clouds that you are in. And just notice that while you cannot see in front of you, there's an uncertainty, but in this uncertainty, you find great peace. And you just float there for a moment, taking this moment in the present moment, staying with the breath, the in and out of the breath, and the up and down of the belly. And you continue to float through this beautiful cloud formation until it opens up. And you see the most beautiful mountains around you. Beautiful green mountains. And your hot air balloon begins to descend and lands in an opening. And you get out and you notice a path. You're curious. So you walk down this path and you walk into a beautiful opening of a beautiful garden with a waterfall. And you listen to the waterfall and you look at all of the beautiful flowers all around you of white and red and purple. And the hummingbirds buzzing about and the butterflies gently fly around your head and you smile. Your special oasis, your special garden, where you can come anytime you like. You walk over to the waterfall and you remove your clothing and you get underneath the waterfall to cleanse yourself as water is purifying. And you lean your head back. And you put your hands through your hair and you allow the water to wash down your body, cleansing you of any stress or anxiety. Everything gets washed down, washed away, and you feel so refreshed and so cleansed. You take in the beautiful water, and you are so grateful in this moment. You get out of the waterfall and you dry off and you put your clothes back on. And we'll take a moment to do a grounding exercise. As you step your bare feet into the beautiful warm earth of Mother Earth, you kneel down and you scoop up some dirt and you smell it. It smells so clean and earthy. And you put your hands down on the earth and you feel a cord from your heart connect through the earth all the way to the core of Mother Earth. And you can feel her love. You can feel her warmth and her connection, grounding you, supporting you, loving and protecting you in every way. Take in her beautiful energy. With each gentle breath, you feel her warmth come all through your body, from your feet and your legs, all the way up your chest and back and arms and head. You can feel the love of Mother Earth. And in this moment, you know everything is going to be okay and that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Take a nice gentle inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth, allowing this moment, feeling this deeper connection with Mother Earth and yourself. You stand up and you look at your garden, so grateful for this experience, knowing you can come back here anytime. And you wander out of the garden down the path and back to your hot air balloon. And you get in the basket and you gently go up higher and higher into the sky. Notice how you feel. Notice how much lighter you feel. There's so much more ease and grace in your journey as you float along, floating along, knowing that there is peace in this moment in your heart like you have never felt before. Your hot air balloon begins to descend and gently tap down on the ground. You get out of the basket and you see your human form standing there, and you gently, gently blend back into where you are, blending into the place where you are sitting, coming back to the in and out of the breath, the up and down of the belly, and just taking this moment in. This is where bliss is. This is where happiness is. This is where your peace is. You begin to wiggle your fingers and toes to come back into your human experience and come out of the meditation. Taking your time, gently opening your eyes when you're ready. And so it is.
Wow. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Whoa. You know, back in like 2017, 2018, I did Aura Soma training, and I had two mentors. Her name, Judith, may she rest in peace. And my other mentor that came from England, Robert Brown, that put me in that same space. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I change it up. I let Spirit take me where they want to take me. There's never the same meditation. I just, and that's not a chakra opening meditation, obviously, but I wanted to give you just kind of an idea, and I just let Spirit guide me. And right now, where there's a lot of interesting collective energy going on, grounding is particularly important. And so that practice of putting our bare feet into Mother Earth, that's called earthing, is one way to do that. And we can do that in the meditation. We can even go outside and put our bare feet in the ground and do our meditation there.
Yeah, I love that. I that's where I probably connect the most in regards to meditation, is literally being outside in nature, because there's nothing like it.
There isn't. You're right. Yeah. I mean, one of the things, I call it my spiritual toolkit that I give my clients as far as learning to cope with different things is going out into nature and connecting more with nature. It doesn't mean you have to go on a long walk or hike or anything. It's simply going to a park and just sitting there and just staying silent and just taking in the beautiful vibration of what our planet has to offer us.
Wow, I love that. So let me ask you a question. What brought you on this path?
Yeah, that's okay. That's a great question. So in 2013, my partner of 10 years and I separated. And this was my best friend and whatnot, and it was a very difficult thing for me. And, after a year, I realized I needed something different. I didn't want counseling or anything like that. I knew I needed something different. And I met my first teacher at a brunch. And I started studying A Course in Miracles, which may or may not be for everybody, but I loved it. And I studied that. I began to meditate every single day, journaled, and did other things that I learned in my journey would help me, step into who I really was. And she offered a seminar at one point about connecting with your psychic abilities and intuition. And I kidded with her because I said, "Oh yeah, Tammy, I can step into my intuition, but psychic abilities? Well, I wasn't really sure at that point." And 3 weeks into the seminar, I started reading people and animals, actually, pets. And it just started organically happening. And I met my second teacher in Arizona, and who really believed in me. And I started doing readings on a Sunday event that she held. And I opened up my practice actually in 2019 when Spirit said, "You're not supposed to be in the corporate world anymore." And while I stayed into the corporate world until the last 6 months, I opened up my practice and started practicing. And then I moved during COVID because Spirit asked me to. And so it's been growing more and more over the last 6 months, particularly since I left the corporate world completely 6 months ago. So it really, we step into our journey often when we get something chaotic happens or there's been a big change in our life. And I look back on 2013 now and I say, this was all for me. And it was for my highest and best good that I stepped into who I am and how I can show up on the planet to do this work and help people.
I love that. I love that so much because, we all have beautiful gifts. And like you said, there's moments in our life, especially as a collective of what happened, like with the pandemic, a lot of time, I don't know, for me, it created an opportunity. That's how I chose to see it. And it's whatever we step through, I feel like it really is our attitude. And that helps to form our perspective and moving forward and our resilience. And also, with those who are unable to get to that point, we are able to step up as leaders and hold the plane of existence for those, for those beings to step into their power as well.
We all evolve differently.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I teach that, is really important is judgment. not to judge ourselves or others, remembering that when we judge a situation or we judge others, we're not defining it, we're defining ourselves. So it's getting to that place of unconditional love where we step back as the observer and just say, that's interesting. You see how that creates the neutrality.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And what's interesting is also the perspective from the inside and the outside. For someone who is maybe really, they've always been a leader, sometimes that can shake someone up because what's going on internally is chaos. And it's very interesting. I feel like I specifically in the last, I feel like over the last 6 months, I've felt tastes of both, where I'm stepping into, more leadership roles and stuff, and I felt so much chaos within. And I feel like finally this week, things are settling down. And I feel like this meditation literally was a confirmation of that.
Yeah. Well, the pandemic has had us all look at things very differently. Everything has changed.
Yeah.
Now, I pray for the healing of the world every day, but at the same time, if we look at this, is the fact that over this last year in the pandemic, all of us had to take a deeper dive. We had to take that deeper look, right, of what we really want. And I've spoken to more young people in their 20s and 30s that do not want to do the 9-to-5 thing anymore because they know they need to show up differently.
Oh, that's a amazing topic right there. It was interesting in 2018. I've never been, I never liked the 9-to-5 job thing, ever. But there's moments where I had to in life. And I was working at Michael's in 2018, and another Mercury retrograde. It was Pisces season. It was early that March, and we were supposed to go to St. Augustine, and that's my sweet spot. That's where all of my gifts opened up when I was a kid and everything. And it was a special place for my mom and my granny to be. And this time, my granny had passed already, and my mom and my dad wanted to go, and they're like, please come. And so I was like, all right, let's do this. And during that, I remember sitting at a restaurant, and I'm like, I'm observing things differently because I'm seeing a new perspective here after my granny passed away. That shook me. And I was like, I'm hearing more about this Mercury retrograde thing. I want to observe to see how I feel. I don't want to put judgment on what other people have said and all of that, because I'm learning this stuff for the first time, And I just remembered experience a magical event after magical event. And my new friend Sammy, we met at a intuitive development class, psychic development class, and she was way far ahead, and she kind of activated me. And I remember just being in kind of fighting myself to get there, because you kind of put pressure on yourself at first of can this gift open?
Right.
Door open. But it's when you let go completely, and it's as if you're you not necessarily you don't want it anymore, but you're it doesn't, it's here nor there. It's a neutral, And when all that started coming up for me, it was wild, because I went through that month, and then I went through soul school. Soul Terra is no longer open anymore, but what I learned during that time was actually meditation. But then, as we walked out of that space. You have to get out of the clouds and go back into like some type of a real world. I literally said to myself, I'm not going to operate the same way. I'm not going to do the 9-to-5 job thing anymore. I'm going to work towards having something, that I call the shots. Well, more so Hashem calls the shots, but we like to think we call the shots. But allowing for that to open up, because of course there's always a need for balance, but there's some of us that, honestly, I feel like we're working towards, I don't know if you've ever been to Israel.
No, I haven't.
But it's like they all have these jobs, but they kind of flow with it. I feel like that's the world we're stepping into.
I agree. I think that, this is the release of all the programming and the paradigms we've had, and it's surrendering. And it's getting to a point where you're either so exhausted that you just say, okay, universe, I trust you. I know you got me. And that's what we have to do. It's really about trusting and knowing that we're on the right path, that those of the light workers like you and I and others are ascending, and that we're going to show up differently on this planet for people. And not to be attached to the outcome. That's another part of it. It's to just experience every day and say, okay, I'm just going to flow with this.
Yeah.
But surrendering is really hard because people get caught up in the income and the money and the normal programming of what success looks like. Well, what is success? Well, for me, it was just doing this guided meditation here with you and seeing the expression on your face after we got out of the meditation. That's what fills my heart up. And that's what we're being asked to look at. What makes your heart sing?
Yes. This podcast right here, it's like my baby. Because it actually allows me to practice my own form of meditation. And for me, I love to walk in faith. When we set out on to do this or it's not this meditation, but this podcast, I didn't ask you anything. We just flowed. And that's what I love to do with these. It's a huge trust exercise for myself because I don't want to attach to things. Mm-hmm. I just want to see the beautiful magic and miracles that Hashem provides when we trust. Mm-hmm. That's what makes my heart sing.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's that freedom and sovereignty. This word's coming up quite a bit now. How sovereign, how independent. How are you going to love yourself so deeply and unconditionally that you are going to allow yourself to really do everything that you love in your life? Because if what you do is what you love, the abundance is there. Yeah. Remembering that abundance is love, support, wisdom. Yeah, money happens to be one of them, but it's these other things that show up that make us abundantly full and make our hearts so full.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow. This is a very special podcast. I'm just gonna say, by the way, you have a knack for this. You totally could do exactly this if you wanted to. You're such a natural. This is her first podcast, by the way.
Yes, it is. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, is there anything else you would like to share?
I think that, the important thing for people to do right now is, regardless of what's going on in your life, be it with family members, relationships, friendships, and whatnot, to do your best not to judge it, to try to move with more ease and grace, and most importantly, try to create that space of silence for you. This is your nourishing time. This is for you. This is your gift to yourself every single day. And remember, it takes time because you're developing the meditation muscle.
Yeah.
So give it time. Be patient with it. And I promise you, you will see the transformation in yourself.
Oh, wow. Ah. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't even say how much I thank you.
Oh, my goodness. So much gratitude for you having me today. I'm really deeply grateful. This has been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. I actually want to say one other thing. It was something that came up yesterday. My mom and I were having a conversation, and it's based off of the words thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It holds so much power, and it can adjust your frequency when you're feeling completely like not in your element. My mom and I were talking, and she was, talking about, something she was unhappy with. And I said, hey, Mom, I totally understand you're not happy with this, but is there a way you can adjust it and say thank you? And so the words Hodu Ladonai came out, and I started like singing that, and she's like, and my mom like does not know Hebrew, so she's trying to sing it with me because she saw my joy on my face, and it's like, there's moments in time where I get like that, and I don't know how to get out. I've been in the meditation thing, and I've been in this frequency, this spirituality for so long, but we still, can struggle, as leaders, because sometimes we can't get past our own mind, the thoughts. And when we can just sit down and say thank you for one thing, it naturally wants to add more.
Yeah, I agree. So I completely agree. Gratitude is something I teach my clients. In doing a gratitude practice, I get up every single morning and I say 3 things that I'm grateful for. Generally what my 103 grandmother used to say: for her health, the food on her table, and the roof over her head. And anything that I might have experienced either that morning or, when I got up, or yesterday, I have gratitude for. Gratitude expands everything in our life. So it's really important not to complain. Remember, complaining will lower our vibration. Gratitude raises our vibration. And remembering that we have over 6,000 thoughts a day.
Wow.
So remember, if you think something negative, immediately put that beautiful positive affirmation, shift it, say cancel, delete that thought or those words, and then put a positive affirmation and some gratitude behind it. And this is how you will shift it.
I just saw gratitude as lungs. Like it goes down into our heart, captures that, and brings it forth with our throat chakra. And then that same energy goes down into our belly where our soul is, but also our emotions and our thoughts, and just like cleanses it.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember, that's why I say my gratitude prayers morning and night out loud, because the voice, the strength, the vibration of the voice gives it more power, right?
Oh, wow. Well, lots of nuggets of gold in this episode.
For sure.
Anything else you'd like to share?
No, people can contact me directly, obviously, on my phone. I like to have a personal conversation with clients that want to book privately, because I want you to hear my voice. I want to learn what's going on with you, and I want to make sure I resonate with you, because I think it's important that when we get with a mentor and a teacher that we definitely resonate. So people can call me on my cell, 602-448-8827. 8827. And I'm absolutely happy to have that conversation.
Cool. Do you have a website at all?
I do. It's www.take5meditations.com. I'm also on YouTube and obviously Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Okay. What is your YouTube channel?
It's Take5 Meditations.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
And all the information will be written out as well. and we'll have that for you so you can, everyone can reach out to Lisa.
That would be terrific.
Thank you so much
Thank
for this
you
beautiful
so much.
gift.
Oh, so much gratitude. Thank you, Catriel.
Well, guys, I thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Shalom.